On today's Smart 7, Jess Phillips hits back at Elon Musk, Trump threatens Greenland, Panama and Canada, and much more. It's Wednesday, 8th of January, it's Bubble Bath Day, and happy birthday, Cynthia Erivo.
The Smart 7. It's news, but
not the news.
Tuesday saw more reaction to Elon Musk's deliberately provocative tweet storm over grooming gangs in the UK. His remarks, which included calling Safeguarding Minister Jess Phillips a rape genocide apologist, have sparked a furious reaction from the UK government. Phillips says Musk has put her safety at risk and also criticised Tory politicians who have been keen to jump on Musk's bandwagon. One of those politicians is Shadow Justice Secretary Robert Jenrick, who described Pakistani men as from an alien culture. He was called out on those remarks and his own failure to take any action or make any statement in Parliament on grooming gangs while in power by Radio 4's Nick Robinson.
I wrote about this and I was criticised for it.
Yes, I've checked Hansard today and it's not a perfect test.
When
you put in the name Robert Jenrick, grooming, no mention. Oldham,
I wrote
no
about
mention.
This, Nick, last year,
Rochdale,
and
no
was
mention.
criticised by
Child
the media
sexual
for doing
abuse,
so.
no mention, Mr. Jenrick.
The calls for a new national inquiry from the Tories and Elon's pals ignore the fact that there was a comprehensive inquiry in 2022 which produced a number of recommendations which the then Tory government ignored. Professor Alexis Jay chaired that inquiry and says it's time for the report to be acted upon.
The time has passed for more inquiries. We've had enough of inquiries, consultations and discussions, and especially for those victims and survivors. And they clearly want action.
If you thought season 1 of Donald Trump as US president was bananas, the early previews for season 2 promised to take things to a whole other level. Trump's legal team spent Tuesday trying to block special counsel Jack Smith's final report on the January 6th insurrection and failed to halt his scheduled sentencing for 34 felonies in New York, which is due to take place on Friday. Trump also held a rambling Mar-a-Lago press conference in which he threatened to take over Canada using economic force and ranted about windmills, power showers and electric heaters. It's not just Canada on his wish list either. He refused to rule out potential military action in his plan to take back the Panama Canal and take ownership of Greenland.
We need them for economic security. It might be that you'll have to do something. Look, the Panama Canal is vital to our country. It's being operated by China. And we gave the Panama Canal to Panama. We didn't give it to China.
He also had a stark warning for the Middle East, demanding that all hostages be released by the 20th of January.
If they're not back by the time I get into office, all hell will break out in the Middle East. And it will not be good for Hamas, and it will not be good, frankly, for anyone.
The impact of Donald Trump's return to the White House is having far-reaching effects as potential allies and major US companies scramble to position themselves in Donald's good books. The UAE announced it will make a multi-billion-dollar investment in the US to build data centers, and Mark Zuckerberg has also announced a major shift aimed at pleasing the new US president. Tuesday saw the Meta CEO appear in a video to explain the company's new approach to news and politics, which seems to be to surrender to the forces of MAGA. There'll be more analysis in this weekend's Sunday 7 with tech guru Will Guyot, but here's Zuckerberg explaining the new policy on facts on Facebook.
We're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes, similar to X, starting in the US. After Trump first got elected in 2016, the legacy media wrote nonstop about how misinformation was a threat to democracy. We tried in good faith to address those concerns without becoming the arbiters of truth.
This week has seen the UK struggle with freezing temperatures, snow and flooding throughout Lincolnshire and Leicestershire. The cold snap is causing consumers to burn through a lot more oil and gas at a time when Ukraine has switched off Russia's gas pipelines that cross its territory, and there's concern that Europe's reserves, which the UK also depends on, are getting dangerously low. Former Chief Executive of Energy UK, Angela Knight, is critical of the government's decision to stop issuing exploration licences for the North Sea, and she says the UK needs to focus on a range of energy options, including further drilling.
Unless we're competitive in this country and competitive in Europe from an industrial perspective, then we will be on a decline as a region. So there's a lot in this energy policy, and there's a lot in the consideration that needs to be given.
Still to come on today's Smart 7, the Carabao Cup semi-finals kick-off and The Last of Us Season 2 is on the way. Right after this. Welcome back. This week sees the first legs of the Carabao Cup semi-finals get underway, although we don't see the second legs until early February. Tuesday night saw Arsenal welcome Newcastle, with both teams on a hot streak. Arsenal hadn't lost in 13 games, while Newcastle had stacked up 6 wins back-to-back. In the end, Newcastle were too good for their hosts and take a 2-goal advantage home for the second leg. Manager Eddie Howe was pretty happy with the historic win.
Very pleased with the players. That was a tough game for us in many different respects. We've had an intense period of games with near enough the same group of players. Really pleased with the way we defended. I mean, we rode our luck a little bit at times, but really pleased with the result.
If you've spent any time at all on TikTok, then the name Charli D'Amelio will definitely ring a bell. The dancer and social media star is the second most followed creator on the platform with over 155 million followers. But she's not resting on her laurels. She's been busy acting, doing a reality TV show with her family and winning America's Dancing with the Stars. Last October, she also landed her dream job on Broadway, and she told Jimmy Fallon she didn't know what to do when she got the call offering her a part in Jukebox Musical and Juliet.
They were like, I think you're going to want to turn your camera on. So I did, and they said, you booked Anne Juliet, and I immediately burst into tears, and I was like home alone. I didn't know what to do, so I was just so proud and nervous, but so excited. This is the dream.
The latest trailer for The Last of Us Season 2 just dropped, and it's packed full of fascinating clues about where the post-apocalyptic drama is headed next. The show, which is based on the best-selling video game series, sees Bella Ramsey and Pedro Pascal return for the second season, along with a host of new characters. Abby, played by Caitlin Dever, is central to the second season, and she's joined by Jeffrey Wright and Isabella Merced as the cast expands. The show is due to drop in April on HBO and Sky.
It doesn't matter if you have a code like me. There are just some things everyone agrees are just wrong.
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes and we'll give you the world.